It is better than snow.
Don't worry, that's coming
Unless
later.
you're plowing.
What?
Unless you're plowing.
Microphones are on.
Are you able to open it?
Yes, I'm airdropping it to myself. That no one else can actually take, but it's fine. I have Andy's phone, I'm airdropping it to myself.
It was
It's fine, it's all
a
good.
tough call.
There you go, thank you, Mr. Andy.
I don't wanna mess up the DA benefits, so. I'm done. The first year, almost 30 years, it's gonna be weird. Yeah.
Are you gonna enjoy this one?
The what? Yeah, I get to sit in snow blowing shovel now. It's in the fall.
Well, it was a
I should
PDF,
bring you some nice ones.
now it's ability, so I can write on
I
it.
have,
Is that-
Because I can send you the Excel version if you want to play with.
That works. And I bet, you think you sent 2 documents, yeah? This one.
Discovered that was better, Excel is a better one.
Uh-oh.
I can't create, but I can read.
Okay.
All right, it is 6
I
o'clock
guess the other day
on,
costs us were like.
it is 6 o'clock on Monday, December 9th, 2024, in the great town of Lee. We're gonna open the public, with any public comment. Anybody has public comment, please come to the.
public comment.
No,
on
no,
it.
Well, you ran up there, I didn't know.
Say your name and address and limit your comments to 3 minutes.
All right, hi, I'm Scott Morrow, I'm Commander of the Lee VFW, post 10676, I live at 4 Pedro Lane, Lee, New Hampshire. I've already spoken to Chief Dronsfield, and I've spoken to Steve over at the DPW. I'm here to humbly request that no parking signs be placed on or between the 2 big pine trees at Memorial Field, because last week, last week during, I don't know what was going on at Mass Way, but I've had several members of the VFW contact me, and they were like, what's up with the cars parked in front of the memorial? And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So, I mean, as many of you all know, I walk my dogs over there all the time. So I said, I'll go check it out. So we walked the dogs and everything. And one of the vehicles was on top of the flower beds that we had recently redone over there. So I'm here, Steve has no problem. The town already has in possession the signs, no parking with arrows. And Chief Dronsfield has no problem with it, I've already spoken to him about it. I would just like no parking signs be placed at Memorial Field between the signs so that nobody can park there. Because it's happened more than once. Just last time they were on top of the flower beds, so that's it. So that was all I have. So I'll let you guys figure out if you want to allow the signs to be placed or not, so. That's it. Got all that. Am I good? All right.
Thank you,
Cool,
sorry, I was
thanks.
trying to find it on a map, so I know where I was. I'm not great with names
Yeah,
of things.
no.
It's
Basically
town,
the school using it as overflow parking.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, it was, can I, okay. Yeah, it was, the school was using it as overflow parking, I guess, because I spoke to the school about it. And it was all along Mass Road, and then it was, there was one vehicle down Recycle Way, or whatever the road is. So, and it's happened several times, like when Tai Chi, was it Tai Chi, or, yoga or something was going on at the tennis courts. There was a bunch of vehicles parked there, and I mentioned something to the people one day, where they're, oh my God, I'm sorry, we had no idea. That's, yes, I understand, and they all moved their vehicles. So, but it's happened several times, and I just think that maybe if we had some signs put up, so that unless you're there, like, we go there and do maintenance, obviously the police park there for, stuff like that and everything like that. I mean, I don't feel it should be a parking area. That's just me and that's a bunch of my members of the VFW, so that was it. So anyways, that was it. Thank you.
Questions?
Should I be up here?
For the question?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can if you want to. So we have two signs that says no parking between these two signs or something.
They already have all the sign, they already have the, oh, here, let me come back up here. So, I'm sorry. So the town already has the signs. They were over at Bedrock Gardens, and apparently they put up a whole bunch of no parking signs, and then somebody complained, and they had to take all the signs down. So the signs are already there. They have signs with no parking with arrows between them. So I just feel that if they put the signs up either on the trees or some, I think it'd be better on the trees or wherever Steve thinks it'd be better, the DPW thinks it'd be better and easier for them, just so that nobody parks there and they're plain to see. I think that would be okay. But yes, the town already owns the signs, they were already over at the DPW. I spoke to them last week, they said, well, you need to go talk to John Fields. I talked to Tom today, and he didn't have a problem with it, and Steve didn't have a problem with it, and they already pulled the signs, and they already own the signs. All you gotta do is put them up. All they need is your blessing, so that's it.
Other questions?
So Andy, is it an ordinance we have to do for that particular section?
I don't believe you need an ordinance for that. You are capable of posting no parking signs on town-owned property.
Okay.
They're not actually on the roadway, they're on your memorial property.
Yeah, yeah, so I already, I went through, I mean, you know me and all the problems with the signs we've had in Lee. So I already went at DOT and everything like that, and they're like, oh, you're the town, this and that, and everything like that, so it all falls on you. So
Thank you.
I am throwing myself and my members in front of you, so there we go. So, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so then, we need a motion, do you think?
Yep.
All right, make a motion to approve the DPW to install 2 no parking signs in front of the memorial field.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yes. Question, so we put in that new policy about people with events adjacent to public land of so many people should let the town know. Does that include the school? Because
It would, but I think this is more when they have like, an open house or workshops or something, not necessarily planned events, just there's no parking spaces,
This
people
was
start
just-
parking over
This
there.
was just on my way to work in the morning, everyone's just parked.
well, they have the coding in COCA, which would be my assumption as to what it was, and they had a
It
lot
was
of
all
people.
volunteer parents, the school did call me.
Okay.
It's better to have them park off of that than along Mass Road. And I called the school back, told them about this issue, so they're gonna send it out in the newsletter to all the parents
Okay.
for anything moving forward.
Okay. Is there no
Between
parking
that
on
and the signs.
Recycling Center Road? or-
They can, but it depends if it's a Tuesday or Thursday, you don't wanna jam that road up when the recycling center's open.
Okay, no parking, got it. All right, thank you. All right, is there any other public comment?
Paul Gzowski, 46 Lamprey Lane. Have a request, and I'm going to make the same request of the school district. Can you gather whatever information is available on the Educational Freedom account for me? Specifically, can you seek the fund request, make the same request of the school district? I think it's relevant. Thank you.
I don't think it's done, I'm not sure that we have any, Andy's gonna look into it.
I will make inquiries and see what I get for either answers or rebutment.
It might be the latter.
Should be public information, so if
But
they're
you might have
not,
to request it from the state, not, from us.
well, he's a citizen, he should be able to make a 91A request if they're not forthcoming. Correct, Andy?
Yep, I will, I'll contact the school district, and I can also, I'm not sure what information is available directly from the state. There may be some compilation there too.
Okay, thanks.
Any other public comment? All right, Colby, thank you so much for your patience.
Okay, my name is Kobe Troidel. I live at 126 High Road. This year was my first year participating in the Advisory Budget Committee. Excuse me. First, I need to say thank you to Pat, Barbour, Scott, Eric, and Tom for all of their patience and training and explanations along the way. I'm not an auditor. I'm not an accountant. And I've never led in a municipality except for a school. And my presentation tonight is designed to be as simple and clear as I needed it to be to understand what we're proposing. So from September 17th, we began meeting and having department presentations. And we just wrapped this up on December 3rd, when we wrapped up our discussions in order to be able to make a presentation to the board as we are tonight. One thing I need to mention is that every presenter, every department chair or person representing that department came with the intention of being mindful and committed to our community. And for the most part, every one of them held their budget at 0%. If it wasn't 0%, it was an incredibly low percentage. So we are very grateful for every person who engaged in the process of presenting to the Advisory Budget Committee and the Select Board. We just want to be thankful to them. So when we consider the needs of the community, I kind of broke this presentation down into our departments. And essentially, those departments who came in at 0, we were thrilled. We could go through each one of them and support that wholeheartedly. That was a joke. And those who didn't, we felt again that it was a minimal request. When we look at the areas that needed increase, we are talking about emergency medical services, our community-based assistance program. And one thing that I've learned is that the vigilance of our leaders to do all of this work in all ways includes managing their expenditures and finding ways to help us access funding to reduce how much we need to budget. For these reasons, we were very confident in supporting their budgets with minimal revision. Some notable increases in this area includes a substantial increase in the general assistance line 19, and the increase itself is $71,235. We recognize that planning for emergencies of community members is necessary, and we felt that we needed to allocate an amount to that line in order to avoid being pressed in a later date, taking money out of the general budget that nobody planned for. So we felt that that was an important addition. Our highway department, they have been making do, essentially, and prioritizing and working hard to do the necessary work in our town roads. This has also been an area that the Advisory Budget Committee in our town has decreased over the years in an effort to keep taxes down. At some point, we will need to find the money for the projects on hold. And for this reason, the Advisory Budget Committee determined that the 15.51% increase in the amount of $118,928 was reasonable. So the largest portion of the budget supports our municipal employees. And as we reviewed every salary along with the costs associated with reasoned and appropriate benefit packages, it became clear that our town has incredibly dedicated, energetic, and very loyal employees. When you look at how much these employees are being paid against employees in other townships that are similar, we have to be mindful of the fact that what we pay is significantly less. I heard during presentations that oftentimes we lose employees to other jobs because they can make better money. So I just want to provide a shout out on behalf of the Advisory Budget Committee to all of those people who have intended to retire and stayed because we didn't have anybody else, and who have made the commitment to continue serving our town. And I just want you to be really nice to those people when you come into the town hall and thank them for their service. So, with that in mind, we want to ensure that the increases that are fairly minor and small, and we did not have specific COLA information about salaries, but we did want to provide and afford department heads and Andy the opportunity to be able to recognize his employees who have gone above and beyond every single day that they come in here and work. And just to give you an example, I came to the tree lighting ceremony. First of all, I felt like I was in a Hallmark movie. It was just really beautiful. And out there, I saw Chief risking his life in a four-way intersection and a magic wand along with Hunter Roy. And, the whole time I'm watching partly the tree and the singing and the beautiful music. But I'm also watching you guys do an incredible job managing a very complex area with a crowd of people and a lot of little kids. So thank you for that. You really made a difference, and that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. Our police department has been short-staffed much of this year. So while we recognize the fact that the budget does require an increase for a couple of reasons, we also need to be mindful of the fact that if we can attract good people and keep them in our community and working for us, that's also a huge resource and a valuable resource for our town. Okay, so we supported all of that, which you can see throughout the budget. It's just according to the line items, you can see where those things pop up. So then, I got to learn all about the financial planning tool. John Tappan is an incredible teacher. And the complexity of this document, from somebody who can go through a whole pile of assessment data and make sense of it, it was totally different. So I just want to thank you, John, for taking the time to explain it, and for everybody on the committee who already knows about this tool and understands it, to be patient while he probably went way beyond explaining just to make sure I had some clue over the conversation. So the financial planning tool, for those of you who don't know, is a way for budgeting process to be planned for. There are certain things that we know in our town that we are going to need. I'm not suggesting that the things I'm listing are necessarily things we need today, but eventually we will need new police cruisers. Eventually we will need to replace our fire equipment. And unfortunately, it's not like going to your local dealer and wheel and deal. This kind of equipment is incredibly expensive. So for several years, there's been an allocation in order to purchase a fire truck. And each year, this financial planning tool calculates how much we need to set aside in order to be able to replace this vehicle when it's time. They do age out, and I believe the vehicle we are replacing now is like 20 years old, 22 years old. So let's just think about 22 years ago and the kind of equipment that was necessary in order to protect our first responders and to help victims in the worst moments of their lives. And it's a very different scenario now. So instead of spending a few $100,000 on a fire truck, we are now looking at what we believe, according to the financial planning tool, at $1.2 million. And while there have been adjustments in when we replace this equipment, because we have had to actually take money away from that allocation in order to make taxes reasonable, I think we also need to recognize we don't want to get caught, I was going to say with our pants down, and then end up having to spend an incredible amount of money to purchase equipment at a time when we weren't planning for it. So as a result, we have recommended that we stick with a plan and allocate $300,000 toward the purchase of a new fire truck. This is actually slightly lower than what the tool says we should be putting away, because it says we should be putting away about $305,000. In addition, it should be noted that this amount has not been consistently placed in or set aside for this purchase. So at some point, we are going to have to make up the difference from the shortfalls of the allocation. We know that we had to allocate $20,000 for a fund for the accrued benefits. And one of the things that happens is when someone works for our town for a really long time, the money that we owe a potential retiree, and we have to be able to plan for that. We already know that 2 individuals have expressed interest, whether or not, 3 actually, so we need to be ready. We know that the cemetery fence needs to be repaired, and the best estimate that we've received is around $15,000. And the problem with this is that we haven't actually gotten a firm, committed quote, because we haven't been able to find the right kind of fence. So we know that it's going to be costly, but yet we feel that setting aside $15,000 for that is a reasonable amount to anticipate. $50,000 for highway equipment. Again, I forgot what we were looking for in the highway department, but it was a massive piece of equipment to replace an aging piece of equipment that we already have, that they have basically been repairing and holding it together with more than duct tape and a paper clip, I'm pretty sure, because it's still functional. But we still need to be mindful that the equipment we own at some point is going to need to be replaced. So we allocated $50,000 for highway equipment. Fire ponds and cisterns. I don't think I really need to talk about why those are important, but we allocated $25,000 for those. We know that the town of Lee is going to go through a reevaluation process. We had to allocate $10,000 because that's not something that we do every year. So it is relevant to this budget specifically. And $100,000 for bridges and roads. We know that there are areas in our town that need significant work. And if we keep postponing and taking money out of that budget line, at some point, things are going to double and triple and become more and more expensive every year we wait. And sometimes the job gets bigger because the damage continues to result from not repairing and maintaining properly. This has been an area that we have traditionally taken money out of the allocation and backed off on, but we felt that it was important because for several years that has been the process in order to get the number down, and we feel that it's time to pay the piper. $35,000 has been allocated for a solar energy system. As you know, many municipalities, school districts, all kinds of regular homeowners are saving money using solar power. I don't know where we are in that process. I just know that we need money to do it. So then, the town hall. We know that we've voted it down once, at least, and it's going to be expensive, whether we repair the old building or we build a new building. But we have to look at what we have in place. We don't have ADA access, and we have handicapped individuals in our town who need to access these services. We need to be mindful of making sure that the water is available in these buildings, and that everything that people need in our town to affect all of the services are in a place that is safe and healthy for them to work. So what we are proposing is that $100,000 for the town hall comes from the unassigned fund balance. and this would result in no change in the amount of taxes. In addition, we recognize that $90,000 needs to be allocated for the transfer station. And there has been some discussion, and we were hoping that the select board could look at least a portion of that coming from the unassigned fund balance. We actually talked about the amount of $5,000 to replace the amount of grant money that we had received previously. So again, it's flush. So, this is the fun part. The budget that we are proposing is a 1.5 increase in the amount of $75,877 in the budget that we're presenting to you, for a total amount of $6,779 or $779,990. Let me say that again. $6,779,990. And that's it. Any questions?
Yeah, so, you talked about the salaries of the employees. Did you guys put any increases in salaries here? Because generally those are not asked for by the department heads unless they're,
Well, we did see some increases in the lines expressed by the department budgets, and those were already embedded in there and in the document.
so you guys did not, if it wasn't asked for, you did not increase salaries?
Correct.
Okay. I know you were part of the discussions, I assume means you have no questions, or do you have a question?
I have no questions at this time.
Next step will be public hearing. The public can ask questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Public.
The best part of that whole process
This
was
is a
your
presentation to you,
cupcakes.
and then it's a public hearing.
Oh, good, okay. The public hearing is on December 23rd. Merry Christmas. Over here. Great. Ms. Allen.
Janet Allen, 85 Tuttle Road, Lee, New Hampshire. I'm here representing the Lee Historical Society, and I believe you received summaries. We were really fortunate to receive two beautiful portraits that the people who had purchased them when they lived here said they came from the Cummings house, which is the house that was just sold on the corner of Mast Road and Lee Hook. The Cummings couple who lived there in the 1850s, if it's of the couple that we think it is, and the period clothing and everything points to that, they were really civic-minded Lee residents. He was a Baptist minister in the Grange building, and that was how it was first planned. His sons fought in the Civil War, and one died very shortly thereafter, came home and never recovered. The other one lived a little bit longer. They're both buried in what is now the Lee Hill Cemetery. It was not the Lee Hill Cemetery, it was the family cemetery, and he donated all of the land for the cemetery to the town. I saw something when I was researching the cemetery that I believe said they had a design for the old meeting house. They knew exactly what it was going to look like, but they didn't have the land to put it on. And I believe I read that Cummings were the ones who donated that land, which would have been across the street from their home. And so the town center was Cummings' land. I haven't found that note again, but I believe that's possible. Anyway, after Mr. Cummings died, his wife donated the Baptist church to the Grange. If they would take care of it, I think they had it for $1. So really civic-minded people. that I think we should put on display. As you know, I've been here before saying we have no room for things. And the room that we do have is just not appropriate for two beautifully gilded framed portraits. They're like huge. They would take up the whole chalkboard, the two of them. So we're not talking about little 8x10s, we're talking about big portraits. And so I talked to some of the library folks, and they have a place behind, if you're familiar with the old meeting house space, there's a table where adults meet. And behind that is space on the wall that now has some kind of chart that they don't use anymore, don't need. So it would fit perfectly for these portraits. They would be protected from the kids running around in there if they're still active. And yet people use that hall all the time. And so when we're closed, which we are now until April, the public would be able to see these people. We'd have signage that explained who they were and how we got them. So I'm just asking permission to use that wall space and extend our exhibits into only portraits into the Old Town Meeting House.
Okay. I guess I have a question. Are you going to verify this, Mr. and Mrs. Cummings?
It's hard to verify somebody's picture. I mean, there were no photographs at the time that we found. Nobody signed the paintings. I don't want to pull them apart to see if there's something in the back. And the period clothing looks right. They came out of that house. We can verify that it came out of that house. The auction was an estate auction, and it was all materials that were in the house. The period is right. They weren't farmers. They were prominent people in kind of dressy clothing.
Yes, digital dressing. Have you guys considered building some sort of plexiglass thing to put in front of them? I guess I'm very concerned if they're that ginormous and that old and that important, hanging in a space where children are very frequently.
I don't think it's necessary because of where it would be. It would be like putting it back here, and the table comes out, and nobody goes back unless they're sitting there. And it's an adult area.
I've been there on Saturday mornings where they're everywhere, so I guess I don't know that I believe that. just someone who's been there. I mean, she sets up things all over the space and the kids are everywhere, so I don't know that I would guarantee that there's no children behind that table.
No, we could look at.
I mean, just throwing it, I would hate for them to get ruined and then that to be a thing, and I don't want to be responsible for that. I don't know. Questions?
Yes, I would task them with putting some kind of covering over it. Plexiglass would probably work. Attach that to the wall.
We could leave.
So in case somebody accidentally throws something because they are kind of delicate.
Yeah. They are on wood. It's not canvas. They're on wood, so they're a little sturdier.
Yeah, as long as the library is no concern, I don't have a concern, as long as you understand that children do use the space and there's no guarantees in life.
Right. Well, they owned somebody's house for 100 years, and they had a lot of children.
Well, that's good, okay. Any other questions?
Might be able to put them up high enough, too, that protect them that way.
I move to grant the Lee Historical Society permission to hang paintings of two prominent Lee residents from the 1950s with signage to accompany, the residents were from the 1950s.
No, that should be 1850.
Okay, from the 1850s with signage to accompany said signage and or display case would be provided by the Lee Historical Society.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Andy, you're up.
Okay. The first item I had was the COLA policy that I presented a while ago at the meeting that I was not able to attend, that the assistant town administrator attended. She said that you had no particular revisions at the last meeting, but that you did request that the policy come back. And I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it and decide whether it's something you want to put in place, or you'd like to see me make edits to, or how the board might like to proceed. I did watch the tape in case somebody offered suggestion, but I didn't hear anything other than bring it back.
Ms. Chapin, comment?
John Tappan, 187 Stepping Stones Road. First, the policy within itself is not consistent. It states in 4 places what the COLA would be depending on the increase in the cost of living, but the second statement is then nullified or changed by the third. So if we accept the idea that a later statement could override part of a previous statement, then you end up with it specifying that if the CPI increase is less than 3%, then the COLA will be 2%. If the CPI is more than 3%, then the COLA will be 3%. If the CPI increase is 3%, then COLA will be 4%. That's a strange function. It looks like this, the dark line there. That's the function that it calls for. On top of that, it gives you a formula for how to calculate the increase in CPI. But it doesn't calculate the annual increase, it calculates a 6-month increase. So it's identifying that as the CPI increase to be used for this strange function. On top of that, it gives you a link to the Bureau of Labor Statistics for where to find the CPI. And I don't know if any of you tried it, I did, and the BLS website says, can't find that page. But if you know the series ID, you can find the data that you're looking for, because of course BLS has it. I also put on this chart what I think would be a more standard, the dashed line here, a more standard function for what COLA should be based on annual CPI, and that is that the COLA would be equal to the increase in the Consumer Price Index, not this very strange function that's proposed. I would also recommend that if the increase in Consumer Price Index is less than 0, that you don't apply a COLA that's negative, you instead apply a COLA of 0, and you then make up that difference in successive years. At this point, I think if the select board wants to have a policy, you need to just start over.
You can certainly plug in whatever mathematical equation in graph format you would like. The principle, just of presenting the policy, was to have a policy. It would move the board forward without a lot of consternation and debate. But
Comments?
Where was this coming from? I don't believe we asked for it, so I think that was the question I asked last time.
where we have,
And I think he means what was the
What was the
impetus?
impetus to have this come out? Because I don't believe the board asked for it.
the board did not ask for it. Typically, as the budget season starts, the town administrator or myself or prior has asked the board what you would like to do for COLA. Since
Sorry, Brady, sorry. Sorry, I scare you. It's okay, it's in a giant cover, it's okay. Are y'all really worried?
Since I've been here, we had a year where we did the budget without the COLA, and the select board has said, oops, we forgot the COLA, we were gonna do it, but didn't. We've had COLAs, when I look back historically over the past 10 years, COLAs have been all over the place. They have been applied to some employees, not others. Some years we've used bonuses instead of COLAs. It seemed very erratic. I talked to some other town administrators who said you don't have a policy for this. I actually stole the policy from Atkinson. I haven't discussed whether they graft this to their satisfaction, but this was the language and the formula that they used. I believe Salem also used it. So my presenting this to the board was simply to try to make the process more smooth and less erratic than maybe it's been in the past.
Can we hold this until we talk about this pay scale for all other employees?
We can?
Because I want to see what that looks like, or I want to talk about that before we make any other,
Yep.
unless anybody has an objection to that. Okay. Fire department pay scale?
Yes, I did talk with the fire chief, and I do have the fire chief's wage scale, which I think everybody is somewhat familiar with. In talking with the fire chief, I told him that my reason for requesting this and reviewing it with him was that I wanted to present it to the board for potential renewal. He had a number of questions and suggestions that he would like me to present to the board to consider
Okay.
adjusting prior to renewal. It is going to take me a little while to incorporate these. What I'm going to do is present you with the original and then present you with the suggestions and requests that he has. Probably the major thing that he would like to change is adding longevity pay and having that built into the step and track of the wage scale.
It's not already built into the step and track?
He has given me a definition of specific longevity in addition to the step and track of the classification table.
Can I see the front page real quick?
Okay.
Because I'm confused about something.
And clearly, the longer you stay, the more you're.
Right, and the step is not based only on years, the step is only based on, is there qualifications? What is the step based on, if it's not time?
My understanding is the step is based on your rank and your time.
Okay, so I will need to understand the difference between those when you bring this back. I would preemptively ask that question, I'm a little
As I
confused.
said,
No, I understand, it's
I
good.
got considerably more suggestions than I anticipated.
No, I just want to make sure, when I ask you next time, you know what I'm going to ask next time. Okay.
Appreciate it.
What was my question? Sorry. I was thinking about it when you were talking to him. Remind me, when did the current thing that we have with them with STEP program expire? Is it this fiscal year?
I believe it's this fiscal year. The fire chief believes that you approved it a second time already, although neither one of us have been able to find that in the minutes.
We did it for an initial one for 2 years.
Right.
So I would think that terminated in 2020, well, June 30th, 2024.
My understanding is that it's 2 years. The chief thought that it had been re-upped since then, and I can't find anything.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And that is the pay scale that we're using now. And some of the effect that it's had, I think the chief has shared this with the board, but right now, I believe our full-time staff of 4 have all attained the rank of lieutenant in the last year, which, okay,
Thank you.
that sure has changed. Moving on to pay scale for all other employees. I've talked to 2 board members, not in a meeting about this. I think Rebecca and I talked the longest about it. I have the original classification and compensation study that was done by MRI in 2021. I know that the board at that time was not pleased with the comparisons of wages with other towns. That's 3 years past, that's water under the bridge. But I think you could use the job classification scale moving forward. I also have a copy of a very similar study that was done much more recently with a 16-step program that if the board is amenable, I can go ahead and plug these numbers in. I just want to make sure that the board wants to do it because it's fairly labor intensive. It's going to suck up a fair amount of time to do, but.
I mean, I personally think we should have a pay scale. I think people should know what's going on. I mean, obviously, if people are doing really well, then they should be bumped further ahead, but I think that's a bare minimum. I guess the reason I wanted to talk more about the COLA is that if the pay scale, I guess my question is if the pay scale takes into account, like people being here and rewarding that, then I would think differently about the COLA.
Mhm.
Which is where I was going with that. So I agree with Mr. Toppin that more of a COLA equal to actual, possibly increasing to a point makes more sense, especially if it's not just that's the only raise.
Yeah, and most of the classification bumps, and some of it is 1 year and 2 year. The wage step and track programs I've looked at are not necessarily every year. Like the fire department, it alternates between 1 year and 2 year. And typically, that ranges from 2 to 2.5% on the increase, as long as you don't change rank or significantly don't change your duties.
Well, I think it's a good idea, and I think if the fire department's doing it every 2 years, then we should try to keep it all the same thing to make the most.
Yeah, I think we could
sense.
pretty easily match the fire department and work in the MRI classifications, because they had classified at a specific level every position in town. And I've seen some much more recent studies as well that I can't copy, but I could certainly look at them and glean information from what's been presented.
Yeah, you're amenable to
Yeah, that's fine.
this, yeah?
Okay, I'll go ahead and do that then and bring both back to the board. I also included in here a motion to declare no hunting on James Farm conservation lands. Unfortunately, hunting season ended yesterday, but the Conservation Commission would still like to have you make that motion moving forward.
Okay. Questions about that? Now we know that.
No, I got my
Your question
questions.
answered.
Yeah.
All right, then I move to grant the Lee Conservation Commission permission to post no hunting on James Farm conservation land pursuant to New Hampshire RSA 36-A:4-I.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Great.
Under miscellaneous, I tightened up the language a little bit on the draft library MOU and gave that to the library trustees. It's in their hands now and they're reviewing it. My understanding is that they were fine with the language. They may have some questions about how to move forward with how they should ask for capital project funding, and that's a discussion that at least two of the trustees have indicated they want to have with me. I don't necessarily know that we want to make that part of the MOU, but as soon as I get that back, I'll bring it back to the board. I don't have a lot else. The assistant town administrator and myself attended the municipal manager and administrator conference on Friday. Had some good information. It was in the Seacoast area, and we did a joint meeting with the managers and administrators from Maine. And just for the board's knowledge, I will say that I was considerably less raucous than the town administrators from our neighboring towns.
Oh, shade there. Okay. Anything else?
I have nothing else.
All right.
Questions for me?
One of the things we learned is that the conversations we started to have with Madbury about municipal services, they're exploring those with Durham. So would it be possible for you to contact maybe one of the select people in Madbury and say, is there any other interest? Or are we kind of like done?
I have spoken with we've swapped emails with the town administrators. They still have some interest in trash. I don't believe there's much interest elsewhere. I'd also, both the assistant town administrator and myself had a lengthy conversation about a month ago with the Durham town administrator and the Durham fire chief about potential interest, and I had followed up on that conversation with our fire chief here in Lee. He had some interest. We have not been able to put the meeting together yet, but that has not gone away, and is something that would also involve Madbury in that discussion. That would be a three-town conversation.
Thank you.
Anything else? No? Okay, so I move to accept the consent agenda with the additions that there are actually 2 supplemental tax bills and 2 abatements.
Second, sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I don't know, I'm trying to figure that out.
I'm sending one down.
I found my sunglasses.
Oh, yes.
It's very important.
They're sending one down.
Just make one down because they know me better.
I think that's a standing notice. Oh, it's not red.
It's not right.
I think it's like she's got a majority, I would roll with it.
This is you then, Mr. Bugbee?
Excuse me? I already signed it.
So I want to make sure, but you were the one that looked at it.
Yeah, I looked at it today.
That was my question.
Mr. Chairwoman,
Yes.
would you be willing to suspend the rules briefly to allow Ms. Casper to address the board?
I would vote against it.
Wow, I don't know.
I drove in the snow, you guys.
You drove here, is it snowing now?
It is snowing pretty hard.
Fantastic. I would be delighted to suspend the rules to allow Ms. Casper to address the board.
Thank you. I did not include Ms. Casper on the agenda for discussion of potential battery grant project that she and I have been talking about, but she is here, and as soon as she would like to.
I showed up because time is getting really short, and I wanted to explain it so that you would understand, and I wanted to make sure, because it's not something that has a big write-up, it's basically long story short. Clean Energy New Hampshire won a grant to look into and investigate what it would be like to have a battery backup system and also generator for municipal buildings. In doing that grant, Eversource found out about what we were doing, and they loved the idea. They also wanted to do something along those same lines. They have $1 million that they need to spend, and they offered to pay for 50% of the cost of one of these battery systems. They also come with a 30% tax credit. The $1 million will go pretty quickly. Each energy circuit rider, I am the Seacoast Energy Circuit Rider, was tasked with finding a few towns that might be a good match for. And of course, I chose Lee as one to make sure we looked into this program with. The challenge is that if you wanted to go forward, it would need to be on a warrant article, and time's running out really fast. I keep trying to figure out how we can keep moving things forward. So I came tonight because we don't have a lot of time left. You're not making any decisions right now. We're just asking, can we go forward with getting quotes from the 4 companies that are willing to do this, to even see if this is a feasible project at all. What it would be eventually is it would go with the library, which makes the most sense of the buildings we looked at, and it would be part of an emergency building. This would still be our main building, but it would be something that would be able to run once we got solar on either the town building or the library, hopefully the library. We can talk about that in the future. But this battery would be able to continue running continuously without needing any extra oil, propane, diesel, whatever you wanted to use. It would mean that there would be a place that was always going in our community regardless of what else happens. So we're trying to set these up throughout the state so that there's always that building in every community that's going, can go for weeks and, indefinitely. It would also provide a backup generator for the library, which it doesn't have right now. And so that would mean that they could continue to go on even in these long power outages as they get a little longer. So something that I think is a great deal, it's basically 80% of the cost of one of these generators. They are expensive. It will still have some price. So what we would do is we would get the bids for you, get them as fast as we can back to you. Hopefully they come in to the next select board meeting, share those bids with you, and you could say, yes, we would like to put that on a warrant article, and no, we would like not to do that, or answer whatever questions you have. But I just wanted to make sure we were moving on this as quickly as we could.
Questions?
The 30% tax, we don't pay tax, so what?
Direct pay.
How would
You get a
that?
direct payment.
Direct pay means that you front the cost in the beginning,
Yeah.
and we do have options for loans. We've actually, part of the grant we won is we can give a special loan if you didn't want to have it just come out of funding. And then at the next calendar year, you would get a check back. So they write you a check for that 30%.
So it's not a tax?
It is a tax credit, it's just that we don't pay taxes, so it's direct pay.
The federal law changed last year,
2023.
yeah, about a year ago, and municipalities and other tax exempt organizations can receive a direct payment in lieu of the tax credit that other folks
That's something
have
new?
available. It's been around for about a year. I know you had talked with the Newmarket Town Administrator about it probably 2 years ago, because Steve was holding off on doing a solar array in Newmarket because he wanted to see how quickly direct pay was going to pass to see if he could recoup that money, but
And what's the magnitude of this particular project? What's the cost?
That's exactly why we wanted to go as quickly as possible and get that price. And we have people waiting to come give you that quote. We just needed to have the okay, and I wanted to make sure you were all in understanding and that you were okay with going forward. Again, we'll give you the information, and then you can say, that's ridiculous, or oh my gosh, what a deal. It'd be more expensive to buy just a regular generator.
Okay.
And we can go through all the details at that point.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Then, yes, please, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you for coming and listening.
Thanks.
Old business?
I have no old business at this time.
New business? No? Do you have anything? Randomly bring things up.
Yes and no.
Okay.
One of the things I spoke to Andy about that came across in the ABC discussions is the cost of the potential new fire engine at $1.2 million. So I would ask the fire chief to work with Andy to find out, is that particular projected cost in the financial planning tool still applicable? Is it going to be more? Is it going to be less? Is it going to be the same? Because part of this financial planning tool in terms of putting money away for this particular purchase is predicated on the fact that that's driving the next few deposits we have to put into that fund. So if we can find out, one, what is he planning on? Approximately, I'm not looking for, personally, I'm not looking for, down to the penny. Are we in the ballpark? There were some machines that were purchased just recently. I think Durham had one that's like around 900,000. So is that the ballpark? Is it the 1.2 million? Because that's what's driving this particular, 300,000 that the ABC is recommending, so.
Nope, I will talk with the fire chief.
So our engine's not for a couple more years, so even if it's only 90, whatever, 900,000 now,
Well,
escalation could put it up that high.
and if you look further out, there's another, I'm not sure which piece it is, but it's $2.2 million way out. So it's like,
Yeah, probably accurate all the way up there.
so the next one that's coming up is really close. So just trying to get an idea, is that what it's gonna cost? Is it gonna be less, more? We were kind of caught, to use Kobe's words with our pants down, was it 2, 3 years ago? We were projecting the fire engine was gonna be 300 and some odd thousand, it turned out to be 600,000.
Yep.
So I'm trying to get an idea in terms of, what that would be, so.
Mr. Tappan?
John Tappan, 187 Stepping Stones Road. The vehicle that Durham is buying is a heavy rescue vehicle. It's not an engine.
Oh, my mistake.
So those are,
My mistake.
have different features. Also, from the limited research that I've done, you can spend any amount you want on an engine. $1 million, $2 million, or more. So it isn't just what is it going to cost, it's what are the features that you're buying and what do they get us? And that's really what you need to be making the decision on.
I think I'd like to start with what the chief is proposing and then go from there. But we don't have any particular details in terms of what that particular engine is or what they're looking for features. So at least we need to start there and find out what that is.
Yeah, no, I can certainly talk with the chief and see if he's got any build specs at this point that he feels are imperative and, must-haves.
Yeah, what's the minimum? What's the nice to have? Let's see if we can fix
The
it.
cheapest fire engine that I've seen recently in municipal things, I believe, was $739,000 for a traditional water-carrying pumping engine.
Well, you got a used fire engine down to JSJ down there from Romney. And I think they're looking at thousands of dollars, not hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Could well be.
I think that engine is from 1960s or something like that, but
Okay.
just kidding. Just
So
kidding.
within reason, what are his thoughts? What do we really need?
Yep.
How much is the really needs gonna cost us? 'Cause that is a lot. That's a couple more years out and it's not far away. Okay, any other business? Maybe we'll move into non-public. No? Okay. So I move to enter into non-public session, New Hampshire RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2A, just say? Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay. Can I ask for L to be included?
and down.
Second.
Ms. Ruby?
Yes.
Ms. Renson? Sure. Ms. B? Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
Is still in service
Okay. All right.
down south every day. Have a good one.
You too.
I didn't think it was gonna turn on o'clock at midnight. Hunter said it's already piling up on the north end of town. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next meeting is the public hearing?
Yeah.
Is a budget hearing?
Public hearing for the racetrack, public hearing for the,
Oh, they did get in early. Oh, no. Smart.
well, I emailed.
Because he had asked me when I thought, I'm like, yeah, I will early. Because then if he said no, there's plenty of time to work with the, racing divisions and
Yeah.
change it.
So he came in with it the other day.
Looks good.
I think it was in the paper last week or something.
April, what's that?
I know, right? I just looked down at what I wrote and it said snorting instead of snowing. Snorting like crazy.
Have a good night, drive safe.
Yep.
told,
called school, and then something happened, so I don't think I
I
didn't tell
told
you.
Misty, when I talked to her about this, I said, you need to be telling the town hall as well.
Oh,
So,
she knew, oh, are you kidding? We went to this last year, remember? And I'm like, that's it. You're right, you said, you need to ask.
yes.
I'm like, it's as easy as that. So I'm like, I'm up in the morning, I'll go for 2 years.
Mhm.
It's like, what the heck is that?
Well, parents,
So I go, yeah, what was it called? Were they having some kind of,
they had some, I forget what they called it, but all the parents came in to volunteer.
you
So,
can't tell me there wasn't enough parking
there wasn't,
in the back, all
Yeah.
of a sudden,
because the church had something going on as well. So,
8 o'clock in the morning?
the both parking lots were full. There was no
I
place
didn't
for them
notice
to
the
park.
church.
Yeah, there was no place for them to park.
Hmm.
And I didn't want them along Mass Road,
No.
so.
I can't remember what day it was.
It was Tuesday, I think.
So the transfer station is open. Because that becomes a problem.
Yes, right. Yep.
I was like, I said, this, remind me to punch you. I see. He's like, oh, what do I do?
And Scott Morrow just doesn't know when to shut up.
And then he sent pictures. What is this? Oh. I don't know what this is, but look how.
Well, the nutcrackers, yeah. Yeah, the nutcrackers.
My God. They treat them like twins.
Mm-hmm.
They're always dressed the same. That's really, really cute. They were in some kind of nutcracker thing?
Yeah, they did it last year too.
Oh.
It's at the Rochester Opera House.
Oh. I haven't been there forever. What did I go see there? It was a Christmas thing, what was it? Was it? It was with
Ebenezer.
Ebenezer.
Scrooge.
Yeah.
Yep. Hungry.
Mm. Well, this is interesting change of events. Yeah, it shows rain right now. Oh, I'm in Summersworth. It's showing rain in Summersworth.
Yeah, I just, it was still raining by the traffic circle, and then it had just changed over to snow there.
Oh, it says 9 PM in Summersworth, changing snow. The line
A
must
little bit
be.
closer to the coast.
Yeah, the thing's right here.
Yeah,
And then
because the
rain,
line was right over Lee.
rain tomorrow, rain Wednesday, rain Thursday.
A lot of rain Wednesday and Thursday, like up to 2 inches.
Can you imagine that snow?
Well,
It's
it's
gonna be 59 degrees
a
on
foot of
Wednesday.
snow for every inch of rain,
Huh?
I think it is.
59 degrees, it's going
I
from
know.
36 to 59, and then 54 on Thursday,
And then
and
back.
then 30,
Right.
but sunny.
Right. So whatever,
Oh my God, and then rain again next week.
oh yeah, we need it though.
I know, but we're gonna drown. I hope the ground's not frozen, is it getting,
It didn't, the ground is no frost.
okay. Because it'll just run off and
Right. Flood.
the, Steve says, I see it on the double camera. Looking at the snow coming down. Oh yeah, I heard they arrested the guy that killed that CEO in New York.
Oh, they did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
They got him at, he was at McDonald's, I think, in Pennsylvania.
There's
I
more
was
to
hoping he'd
that.
come up here, so.
There's so much more to that.
Oh, God, yeah. Well, you know, some family member or wife or kid died.
I think he was hired.
Oh, you do?
I think he was hired.
He was not very good. I mean, he left the backpack in the park
Yeah.
and then he got on a bike.
True.
But he got away. That's what
Right.
kills me.
Yep.
Like, how could he get away on a, it was an electric bike, right?
Blends in, everybody's got them.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm sure it had something to do with college.
Yeah, well, yeah. I see now, there was a thing today that Blue Cross and other health insurers are approving claims that they had previously denied, surgeries and stuff like that. Mm-hmm, because they get nervous.
Really? Every single minute, there's a dog missing.
Oh, I know.
Either here, Dover, Somerset,
Mhm.
Andover.
Irresponsible pet owners.
Like Andover, every day there are dogs running around, because I'm on that
Mhm.
thing too. Like this, oh God, look at this little guy. What the?
I got a grandkitty now. My granddaughter wanted a kitten, so Lisa took her to the SPCA.
Wait, I think I saw, did I see a picture? No? Wait, why did I think you had a cat?
We have a cat. We have a little bit.
You still have the cat that
Yeah, yeah.
gets along with the dog?
Yeah.
Now you got another one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and her and the dog, him and Greta are best friends already.
What about the cat though?
Cat hides in the bedroom.
Oh, the new
Comes
one?
out.
I mean, the old one.
A little bit. Comes out, hisses.
How
So
old is
Lisa,
he?
the older
A
one,
little bit.
a little bit
A
is,
little bit?
a little bit, yeah. She is 3. So
That's young.
she
That's good.
climbs up under the comforter on our bed and hides under there. So Lisa had read that if you bring something that has the kitten scent on it and put it,
Oh.
it helps them get. So Lisa slides up under the cat's under the go.
Growling at it? Oh, that's
For the
so
first day,
sad.
she wouldn't come out of our bedroom. Now she's, like last night when I went to go to bed, she was out on the sofa where she usually is. And
Man.
yeah, she sits on the end of the bed and just stares out the hallway. Like she's waiting for it to come get her.
And it's a kitten.
It's a kitten. But
See,
it's,
that's
it's
what-
attached itself to me. Anytime I'm home, it climbs up on me and goes to sleep. Lays right here, goes to sleep. Hers, black, tuxedo.
Yeah,
Yeah. Jack.
Jack. Can't believe I haven't seen a picture yet.
We haven't posted any. He's cute though.
Um, I lost my cat, as you know, not long ago. And
There he is.
so I'm not ready. Oh, I'm ready, but every time I see a cat, I'm like, oh. And my other cat, Lily, who's a female, only female animal I've ever had in my life. She is just, I mean, it's not like my other cat did anything to her.
Right.
He didn't beat her up, he didn't do anything. He just sat, she used to smack him in the face and he'd just sit there.
Right.
Just like a bitch. And, but now she's suddenly starting to come out, walk around the house. She's playing more. I'm like, the dogs are still there.
Right.
And she's still like, with the dogs. But she'll walk by the dogs without a problem. But like, and they just go like this,
Yeah.
because they're afraid of it. But I don't know why.
Kitten climbed up on Greta and went to sleep on the sofa. And Greta's so good, she just lays there and lets him do it.
I really want, I don't want to make her go back into her shell.
Right.
So,
And I told Lisa, I'm like, a little bit will come, she'll get over it.
yeah, hopefully.
So. But like I picked Greta up at daycare, brought her home before the meeting. Then went in the house and I heard meow, meow. He come running down the hall to me, running around my legs. Meow, meow.
Oh. There were so many kittens on Facebook about a couple weeks ago, like
I
right,
couldn't find one when I looked this week.
oh my God.
And then Friday, we kept, Emily had a dermatologist appointment in the morning, and Lisa's like, hey, just gotta keep her out of school. She's got a straight A, she's doing great. So like, whatever. So then they went to the SPCA and stopped by here with the kitten.
Yeah, there were, I actually wrote to one person, because I was like, she had so many different colors. I don't know how they came out, all these different colors, but she had an orange one, and I personally have never owned an orange key.
Right. I heard they could be, have attitude.
Oh,
Orange
really?
cats, yeah.
My roommate had one way back when we lived in Dover, and that cat was so awesome. And then my cousin has an orange cat, and he does have an attitude, but,
Lisa's cat that lived almost 22 years was an orange cat.
yeah.
And loud.
Oh, yes, yeah, they're loud, yeah. And so I wrote and I said, is this real? Because it just didn't look real.
Right.
Is this real? And she actually wrote back to me and said, yes, it's real. And I was like, okay, thank you. And that's what I said.
I'm gonna stop right now.
I'm like, no, not really.
Well, Lisa wanted another dog.
Oh,
And after I brought
that's
Greta,
right.
I brought Greta to the vet, I'm like, yeah, no. Nope, can't afford it.
I know, having two is,
Yeah. Lisa said it was $300 to adopt, but it's microchip, neutered, already had shots. So, good to go. Like I was sitting on the edge of the sofa, and he was sitting here, and I was on my phone. Like this, comes out, crawls right here, and was watching the videos on my phone. Just laying there, had his little paws tucked in like this. He was watching the videos. My granddaughter came, she was doing laundry, she comes in, she's like, is he watching videos? I'm like, yeah, he's been here for like 10 minutes.
I have a picture of one of my cats, I think it was Reggie when he was little. He was sitting up on the TV, there's a TV console kind of thing, and he was sitting up on the console right in front of the TV, and the TV is huge, right? And it was Christmas time, and those little kisses that go ding, 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 ding,
Oh,
ding,
yeah,
ding,
yeah.
ding, and he was going, and he was watching it, and I got a picture of it, it was perfect,
Yeah.
his little head.
Very funny. This little guy's smart though. He is smart.
Yeah.
He talks a lot.
Yeah, Lily talks, sometimes she talks a lot when she's hungry.
A little
Wants
bit talks.
attention.
A lot. Like first thing in the morning when you first get up, you go out in the hallway and say, "You want a bit?" She'll follow you around. She'll sit up and beg for a treat.
Reggie didn't talk a lot. As a matter of fact, he didn't purr loud until he was.
Little bit does not purr. She's not a real snuggly cat on her terms, and usually first thing in the morning. Like when Lisa's over on the weekends and she gets up early, the cat will snuggle
That's
with
the
her for a
girl
little
in her.
bit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Is this new one a girl or boy? Oh, Jack.
Jack, yeah, boy.
Oh, yeah, you'll notice a huge difference.
Yeah.
Girl cats are, I don't know.
Yeah.
Girl
Bitchy.
animals, I just
She's
can't.
bitchy.
But you have a girl dog on,
Yeah.
she's okay.
Yeah, she's good as awesome. She's so good. She thinks the cat's her toy. It's, you know, her buddy. So, nudging it. He put his paw right on her nose.
God, you gotta capture that
I know,
on
I
video.
know. I'm too busy laughing at it.
Well, I know. He says it's still raining at his house. He lives in
Madbury.
Madbury.
Well, it's close over towards the coast.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, it's not as big now. And it's still
Still coming down good though.
Whoa. This water's probably been up there a while, huh?
Bro. I like that, Colby. Seems
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. She's trying very hard.
Mhm.
Oh, so last night went okay then? The lighting and the,
Yeah, it was well, very, Saturday night.
I
It
mean
was well,
Saturday.
well attended, yeah.
Oh, good.
And all the lights came on.
Yay.
But yeah, no, it was nice. There was a lot of people there. The three-piece like band, you know, trumpet and bugles. That sounded good.
Oh, that's good.
It's just that's such a dangerous spot to be crossing people in the dark.
Mm-hmm. Especially when it's getting dark.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had time to like bake. You know, time.
And then, you know, when it's all done, it'd be nice if everybody just left, so I could just stop traffic, but like 10 would come, and then let traffic go, and then 2 more people would come.
They walk down there and then they have to walk back because they
Mhm.
parked all over the place,
Yeah.
right?
Yep, they park up at the old town hall, and they park over at the Grange.
Did you go to the, did you go to the Grange?
No,
No.
no, I went home for dinner.
But left.
Everybody left. I didn't leave. Yep.
Godforsaken videos. I just go down a rabbit hole. I just wish that this Facebook was around. The Facebook Marketplace was around back when I was in, college or starting out. I mean, we had to buy our shit.
Oh, I know.
It's like, now, free stuff everywhere.
Steve said he left his house, it was just raining and everything was green and brown. By the time he hit 155, it was a blizzard.
Yeah. And I wish I had a bigger house so I could also get more stuff. I want this cheese. Man. do they wait until it's been doing it for a while, or
I would
do they
think,
start now?
I mean, I don't know how much is out there.
Hmm. I've spent a lot of time in hospitals lately, with family members and stuff, and this is so funny. I know how it will end. One of my children will unplug my life support to charge their phone.
That's true.
And that's what I was doing at the hospital. I was like, can I use these red ones? You know, now they have the red out ones. I'm like, can I plug my phone in here? And then I'm like, someone said, no, you shouldn't do that. That must mean something. And I'm like, well, this one's full.
That's funny. I can see it happening.
Mm-hmm. I really don't want to buy anything else ever again. Just want to get it on Bitterford. People are idiots. You ever look at watch those DIY, not the, like redoing a room or anything, but these craft, they call them Fix-It Smart DIY repair hacks for quick and easy solutions. Oh my God, on Facebook. First of all, it goes so fast, you can't even keep up with it. And you see something you like and you're like, oh, I could do that with that thing I've got. And then they're on to the next 10 things, right? My God, there's just so many ideas out there. I'm like, uh-oh.
Fire call. We got an accident.
Oh
downstairs, not up here. It's gonna be an accident.
Is it still snowing?
Oh, yeah. George Bennett looks just wet.
Yeah. I'm gonna get home just in time for this changing over. I feel like it's getting cold. I wonder whose shoes these are.
Rebecca's.
Oh.
She wore them in and changed it to our flats.
Who's working downstairs for you?
Barrington. Can't be too bad of an accident if it's on Old Mill Road.
I can't look at TikTok stuff now, I gotta join?
Oh, really?
I don't know, is this a scam? It's weird. No, thank you. Look who's a contractor blew me out 3 times online right now.
What's that?
So the contractor that blew me off 3 times is online right now.
Oh, really?
3 times.
Work for you?
No show. No show. And the last time ended up, I didn't call him and he just blew me off and didn't call me, just didn't show up.
What you haven't done?
Trying to get it's like not a lean-to, but on the back of the garage, building a protective cover to put the lawnmower in. And we didn't get it finished. So I needed help. We've got the tubes poured and they've got the metal things on the tops, the little things that hold the wood like that.
Yep, all the 4x4s.
And then this weekend we managed to get up what do you call that thing you put on
The ledger board?
that you put on the back of the garage that you're
And then the
gonna.
roof rafters come off.
Yes, yeah. So, looks like we're gonna have to pick away at it.
And just put metal roof on it.
Yeah, oddly enough, I found a whole bunch of leftover, roofing. See, this is my problem.
Shingles?
No words. Roofing shingles.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll have enough to do the whole thing
The
though.
problem is if you use roofing shingles, you gotta put plywood down.
Yes, already bought the, what's the stuff they're using now? It's thick and it goes in tongue and groove kind of thing.
Yep.
Big huge sheets of it. I already bought those. So those are gonna be the roof. And then I was hoping, I don't know if I have enough shingles to do the whole thing. Materials are all purchased. They're just lying all over. So who's working downstairs? For you?
Hunter and Ryan are on.
Oh.
Ryan's on until 10.
chickpea soup.
Yeah, no.
Dear God.
Next time, can you bring us like an easier thing?
I'm sorry. Drive safe.
You too.
here.
Oh.
He locked my shoes, but other than that, no.
Keep going.
Let's, do we have anything for tonight?
Oh.
Motion to seal,
Oh,
move to seal the non-public session minutes.
second,
Ms. Roby?
yes.
Mr. Benson?
Yes.
Ms. Hopper? Yes. Yes, ooh, what?
Ooh, ooh. Can I ask you a question? You're an insurance guy.
I'm sorry, is this pertinent to the?
Yes,
thing, or-
it's a town business thing.
Okay, let's make it
One
sure.
of the things that has come up in the MEC discussions is about using the ACA, healthcare.gov. If the town said, oh, we are no longer providing health insurance, could we have those particular employees do that and then provide them an amount of money to get a plan that's similar to the ones that we have?
We are probably right on the borderline with number of
Employees. It's
full-time
50.
equivalents of employees
Yeah.
to be able to do that, yeah.
About this before.
Right, I think the better solution to probably look through is the situation that I had
Okay.
talked about with Bill
Okay.
Paul. I think would be easier to implement. We could get Health Trust to do that for us, I believe, at this
Okay.
point.
All right. So if anything, can you look into that? And I think you said this year would be not really.
I doubt that I can get firm and hard numbers for July 1st at this point, and an agreement to proceed. But I can certainly, I have an outline of the similar plan from Bill, and I can present that to you.
And he likes to do calendars, so could we start maybe potentially July 1st, 2026? And just do a half year and then just keep on going that way
I
possibly?
could certainly, I'll get what he has for options and bring it back to the board.
July 1st, 26.
Yes, because you couldn't do it by 25, because there's not enough time, but that would be a year from this next January. I think if anything, we need to explore it to see if there's any cost savings there. And the thing is, you know, managing staff expectations, but if you're giving them a plan similar to what they already have, but,
Yeah, the only thing that would change in the plan is the upfront deductible, and typically the town, you start a medical savings account, or whatever you call the account, the town makes a contribution to it to
Yeah.
offset the high deductible, and you get
Yeah.
a debit card for that amount, and if you don't use it all, it rolls over from year to year. So technically, if employees have good health years, they have no deductible.
just as long as the coverage is the same that they're getting. Because right now, what do you guys have? Is it?
It's Anthem through the Health Trust, which
So-
is about 85% probably of the state right now.
So even if your friend can get one of those particular similar plans, high deductible, but the same provider, the other issue people have is in terms of making sure that whatever the plan is, their current providers are included in that plan, because.
Yeah, and both options would, I think, could use the same network without any difficulties. As I said, I believe Health Trust would offer a similar mechanical put together at this point.
It's just something we need to look into, because,
At the very least, it's due diligence, even if you don't
yeah.
decide to pull the trigger.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Do you wanna just sign these? I don't know what happened then.
She didn't send it down, so I figured she didn't.